Nigerians have demanded results as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu assigned the Petroleum Ministry portfolio to himself like his predecessor. Mr. President will head the Petroleum Ministry while former Senator Eniki Lokpobari is the Minister for State for Petroleum Resources. President Tinubu on Wednesday unveiled the portfolios of 45 ministers 9 days after they were confirmed by the Senate in a week-long screening exercise. The ministers will be sworn in by Mr. President at the State House Conference Hall, Aso Villa, Abuja, on Monday. A statement on Wednesday by the Director, Information Office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, said the ministers would attend the ceremony with 2 guests each. Going by a list, it is indicated that Mr. President appointed 13 nominees as ministers of state and also created new ministries and renamed a few others. However, the names of the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, a former national women leader of the APC, Stella Okotete, and the ministerial nominee from Taraba State, Danladi Abubakar, were missing from the list, all waiting for final clearance. Looking through the list and portfolios gives Nigerians a need to ask those needed questions, starting from accountability and performance on the different ministries and pure indication that Nigerians want a departure from the past when some ministers do not only perform but are also mismanaging the funds allocated to their ministries. And how can we bring and hold them accountable? Hence the need for us to look at all of these today on the big story. And we're talking about, the ministers finally getting their different ministries, and not just that, a call for accountability and performance. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on the big story. Like I said, we're looking at not just the different portfolios given to the ministers, but also that growing call for accountability and also a call for performance. And to truly help us talk about this morning, we have no other person but a lecturer and a social analyst, and I'm talking about Raymond Ube Orogun. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Michael Ray, for this opportunity. Well,
thank you so much for also joining us. But before we go, I would really want us to really look at the different ministries that the different ministers would definitely be handling. And if you really would just bear with me, let's see if we start it from the very top and see the different ministries to be handled by the different persons. Now, let's start this way. Now, to preside over the Ministry of Works is former Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi, while Jigawa State Governor Mohammed Badaru was appointed as a Minister of Defense. Let's continue and get more. But funny enough, despite the clamor by Abuja native and indigene to be appointed as the Federal Capital Territory Ministry, former Rivers State Governor Yusuf Wike clinched the position. Also, Mariga Mohammed will work with Wike as a Minister for State for the FCT. On the other hand, an ex-lawyer, school director general, I'm talking about Maman Tahi, heads the Education Ministry. Well, and also Tijani is the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy. And also Salako is the Minister for State, Environment and Ecological Management, while Wale Edon is the Minister for Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Also on the list are the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Bumi Ojo, Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, Minister for State, Health and Social Welfare, Tijani Aloasa, and Minister of Solid Ministry, Minerals, Development, Deya Lake. Minister of Tourism will have Lola Adejon, while Oyetola was appointed the Minister of Transportation. To administer the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is no other person but Doris Anete, and while Uche Unaji would hold forth at the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. A former lawmaker in Kiru will pilot the affairs of the Ministry of State, Labor and Employment, while Uju Kennedy heads the Ministry of Women Affairs, and Festus Kiyamo is the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development. The Minister of Youth is Abakar Momo. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation is no other but Beta Edu. Minister of State Gas Resources, there we have ECPO. And Minister of Sport Development, we have no other person but John Eno. Well, anyway, let's see if we quickly continue with others. Others are Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. And we're talking of no other person but Hannatu Musawa. Minister of State Defense, Bello Matawalim, former governor of Zamfara State. Minister of State for Education, Tanko Sunanu. And Minister for Housing and Urban Development, we have no other person but Dangiwa Ahmed. Minister of State for Housing, Urban Development, we have Abdullahi Guazo. And Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, we have Atiku Bagudu. Minister for State, Water Resources and Sanitation, we have no other person but Mr. Bello Guru. And Minister for Agriculture, we have Bakar Yari. Former Yobe State Governor Ibrahim Gidam will emerge as the Minister of Police Affairs. Former Nigerian ambassador to Germany, Yusuf Tuga, will head Nigerian foreign diplomacy as Minister of Foreign Affairs. Okay, and Tinubu also appointed no other person but Alaki as the Minister of Interior, Ali Patein as the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, and Megiri Amadu as Minister for State, Steel and Development, and no other but Audu Saibu as the Minister of Steel and Development. And those are the different ministries, and well, we still have some few more, and we're talking about national rotation. Mohammed Idris, Attorney General of the Federation, and Minister of Justice Latif Fagbemi, SEN, Minister of Labour and Employment Simon Lalong, Minister for State Police Affairs, we have Suleiman, and Minister for Special Duties, we have Gisalo, Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph, and Minister for State Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Abdullahi. Well, these are the different ministries and ministers that will be handling them. And well, a need for us to really look at it. I just needed to give you all of that in case you're just hearing for the first time. We've given out a rundown of the different ministers and the ministries they will be handling, and hence we need to handle it right here in the studio. Well, that brings me to my very first question. 9 days after the screening, finally, they've been giving their different portfolios after the long wait. I know you had to really put out that sign of, we waited a bit. But I've just giving a rundown of their different ministry. I want you to react to the names and the ministries I've read. Are you satisfied with the names and the ministries they will be heading, or do you have any reservation to any of the ministries and names mentioned as ministers to that very ministry?
Well, let me start from a place. You asked me if I am satisfied.
Yes. Don't worry, we'll break it down, but I just want your overall reactions to the names and the different ministries they will be handling.
I understand. You asked me if I am satisfied.
Yes. Well, do you have any reservation?
Well, because I'm a Nigerian and I want the goodness of this country.
Yeah.
If you have given me the opportunity to choose my own ministers, I believe I would have chosen different people from these ones. And because of that, probably I would have mixed some of them and bring up new people, younger people, and all that. But we just have to make do with what our president has offered us. We just have to believe that they will deliver. Then I look at some of the positions and quite well some of the personalities that made the ministerial list.
Yes.
Some of them just from just the surface.
Yes.
I say from the surface, they look like technocrat.
Okay.
So to say.
I'm wondering why you said from the surface.
From the surface. Go
ahead. Let me let you
they look like technocrats. And I also look at some of the positions that and the offices, the portfolio that has been allotted to them. I see that it is quite strategic.
Strategic.
Yes, it's quite strategic. I see the man from the Nasarawa angle.
Okay.
The Minister of Defense now.
Okay.
You see the crisis that is coming from that angle.
From the Middle Belt.
From the Middle Belt and from
other. North, West.
No. And you see the portfolio that has been given to him, talking about security.
Yeah.
Then you also look at our own Wike, our own brother Wike here, and you see that the FCT is already a flashpoint. Okay. You know, counting to this very tribunal issue, electoral issue that is ongoing, that FCT, you have to win FCT. And for you to win FCT, you need a man, a strong man. And you see our man, one of the strongest men, political strongest men from the South, has been given that very
so all you are saying, it looks as if some of them are strategic. Some of them are strategic,
and the one for this FCT is highly strategic, and it is a positioning for 2027. You can't have Wike in FCT and you want to tell me that Wike will lose FCT.
And also looking at that as is one of the main issue in the tribunal.
Yes, and bringing up his antecedents, his pedigree from Port Harcourt. If I am in FCT, I will have to follow Wike because I know he will deliver.
Okay, well, anyway,
so it's quite strategic.
Okay, well, anyway, that's your reaction to it. We'll break it down one after the other. But let's start first from the top. I feel it's only right to start from the top.
Yes, sir.
And talking about starting from the top, I want us to start from Mr. President himself.
The petroleum.
And his portfolio. And he's the one handling the petroleum ministry.
Yes.
Which will be like his predecessor did. I'm talking about former President Muhammad Buhari. And we do know on the mining it would also be having no other person but Senator Haniki Lokobiri having to be the Minister of State on Petroleum. But this is a ministry that is so enmeshed with a whole lot of issues, from oil theft to vandalism, and not only that, this ministry is alleged to be deeply rooted in corruption. And who would also doubt that, especially with on Friday report from the CBN that they've not received any money on account of our oil sales in the last 7 months. But well, that's not where my question lies, though. But I'm really concerned about this very ministry. The ministry under Mr. President. Do you feel he can deliver? Being a busy man, now heading the ministry just like his predecessor did, and the whole lot of issues that came around it, can we say he will deliver on this, and what are Nigerians' expectations as he heads this ministry?
Now, let me come this way, Mr. Ray. The truth is that the petroleum industry, the petroleum sector, is the golden egg of this nation.
Of course.
And is the pillar of this nation.
Okay.
And you know the history of our people. Now, the leadership, from the way it is beginning to even lose trust and confidence in the people, on the people around them.
Okay.
So what do? I don't have to leave this golden egg in the hands, in the watch of another person. Let me be the one to oversee it. Let me see what is actually going on in this place.
So do you feel that's the mindset of Mr. President?
That is his mindset. If that is not his mindset, why did he jump into it? He wants to oversee. He wants to see the pros and cons. He wants to see the ins and outs. So we want to supervise. This is where the money is coming from. If my eyes are not in where the money is coming from, then where should my eye be? That is it now. So I have to look at it properly. I have to be involved. I have to know what is going on. I have to know things that are coming out, where they are going to. I want to supervise. Because if this is the bane of our economy, then I have to know what is happening. I think that is what they are doing. But for me, it is not the right thing to do. For me.
Okay.
It is not the right thing to do. Because as a president, you are in charge of all the sectors. So you shouldn't just particulate your attention in one spot. Okay. Your eyes have to move to and fro, all round. You get that now? So you shouldn't just fix yourself on petroleum because your predecessor, he did it and it didn't go well. I think this thing started from the time of Obasanjo also, where presidency, we attach himself to the petroleum and all that. It didn't go well. So we should look for another means or another person. You should separate it and give it to somebody who is competent enough to look at it, who has a proven record.
But would there be that trust? Because you just said it now. Would there be that trust that whoever he gives can really supervise or can really handle that ministry without issues arising from there. Because, like I said, even the petroleum ministry is so opaque. We seem not to understand what's going on. We do not know how much we are making. We do not know how many liters of crude we sell. We do not know how much is even coming. So everything is so immersed in a whole lot of secrecy and it's so opaque. So do you see him having the trust to put any other person there?
Now,
that's the question.
Let me show you now, sir. You know that the mineral resources of every nation,
yes,
the mineral resources of every nation is the center of attraction for corruption for that nation.
Of course.
If you check what is happening in Africa right now, we have Congo. You see the corruption that is going there just because of their cobalt.
Yes.
The mineral that is used to produce phones and laptops and all that. And you see the corruption going in there.
Yes.
Then you also check the recent one, Niger Republic. You see the corruption that is going on within the mineral resources.
Okay.
How the government is doing a covert job within the mineral resources because of their uranium. And you also move to is it Burkina Faso and Guinea-Bissau, and you see the corruption that is going on around their mineral resources. They have bauxite and other gold and other that and all that. So you discover that for every country, their mineral resources is the center of corruption. And I believe that in Nigeria here, our major mineral resources, of course, is just the crude, and it's also the center of corruption. Then I believe that if our president knows all this, he wants to look at the center of corruption, perhaps also belong to the center of corruption.
So are you saying we will hold him accountable if anything goes wrong there? Because he's offering himself to lead that very ministry.
He's offering himself
to lead that very ministry. So I'm talking of Mr. President.
Without any scrutiny to be there. Or
so because this is where our major discussion is. So we're talking about not just his ministries, but holding them accountable. A whole lot of corruption happened under the watch of former President Muhammad Buhari. Yes. And as it stands, more revelations are being seen. Yes. More are coming to the light every day, especially on account of the private investigator being assigned to deal with the issues, not just only in the CBN, but also the NNPCL. So all I'm saying, because at the end of it, we've not been able to try previous presidents on account of corruption of the administration. We have that of Goodluck Jonathan. We see now have that of President Muhammadu Buhari. And yet we're dealing with the ministers that oversee this ministry. But yet these are critical ministries that should also be looked at. So how do we hold anyone accountable on account of it? Especially under that ministry. That's a big question.
Yes. In the aspect of accountability, let us briefly define what holding leaders or holding government accountable is. Now, when you say you want to hold government or leaders accountable, now you are demanding to know their action. You are demanding to know the result of their decisions.
Okay.
That is, the citizens are demanding to know. That is what we call accountability. And you knowing, you have to take action, either to redress it or to stop it or to improve on it. Now the question is this: you and I know that has not been obtainable in this country. The issue of citizens holding the government accountable has not worked, because all the systems, all right, all the key factors that enable the citizen to hold the government accountable, it's not functional. They are all dysfunctional.
I'll plead with you to hold on, because we need to go on the break, and we'll really look at this, because I'm really curious to know how we can do that. Because we've had bad policies that have been on ground on account of previous administration, and nobody till today has been able to bring them to account for those policies or inactions and actions that they took under their time. But anyway, I'll beg you to hold on. We need to go on a break now. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the ministers and the ministries will be handling, and not just that, but talking about performance and accountability and the need for citizens to start holding our leaders accountable. Let's go to break.